この大空に翼を広げて。フライトダイアリー。
Greetings and salutations, everyone, and it has been a while since I've done a visual novel, I should say. Pardon me, still a little bit of a frog in the throat, but we got some water here, as this is quite a bit of a read-along, if you will, but got a little water for that. But let's get you in on a little bit of a recap, because it has been quite a while since we've touched bases with If My Heart Had Wings. So starting with what we did in the last stream thereof, the Soaring Club is trying to figure out how to do some proper aerobatics for their big show off to the community as well as to the school of what they can do. After Kotori basically rushed into an agreement with the community leader, if you will, Mr. Kazuto, who happens to be the grandfather to Asa and Yoru, as a means to put on a show, but it's a very short amount of time they have to do it. And this is the importance of understanding that proper planning and preparation prevents poor performance. So rushing into stuff, definitely not a good idea. But of course, Kotori does have remorse, but they got to do what they got to do. And it wasn't really like they had much choice in the matter either, because Mr. Kazuto's schedule was kind of tight. Seeing Gamane once again hanging around in the hangar and whatnot, munching on some watermelon, they actually stop her for a second because they've got an idea. They need a supervisor for their flight. So they ask Amane, hey, here's a trade-off. You get to use the hangar, you be our supervisor for our big flight day. And Amane's like, yeah, that works. So they've got a supervisor now to at least solve a portion of their problems. But of course, they've still got some other things that they've got to figure out related to the aerobatics. One, that the glider is very heavy, which doesn't do great for being able to do even so much as probably even a barrel roll for that regard. So they're going to have to figure that part out. But I had some news for Kotori, but Kotori pushed that to a side because apparently she's got some news of her own, some involving the flight plan. So she presented it very fast, and Ageha was shocked in this scenario of that regard. So we're going to take a look now and find out exactly what that was all about, shall we? So as we transition over to this side, it's quite the scenario as to how this is all turning out, let me tell you. But you know what? This is how it is you're going to have a lot of challenges in life. And eventually you overcome those challenges one after another. Now it's just a matter of whether or not your efforts are actually going to go forth to where they actually go forth to where you are successful. Now, sometimes you have success, sometimes you have disaster, but it ultimately comes down to what the overall result is. And sometimes you hit, sometimes you miss, but ultimately learn from it. So let's bring the game audio up and let's see what we got here as far as what's next up in the lineup of events. Okay, how for real are you, Kotori? Ageha looked over at me, her face breaking out in a cold sweat. Yeah, you see the sweat marks there? I definitely see them. Let's do it. I think it's the only way.
私もいいと思います。エルロンロールするより先輩たちらしいわね。
そんなことができるなら見てみたいです。
Feels like their S's are a little bit sharp. 1 second, folks. Ageha looked over everyone's face and sighed dramatically.
ぶっつけ本番ってとこも私たちらしいわね。
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, Ageha. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. We all agreed.
よーし完了。撤収としますか。
Ageha said after confirming all the preparations were done for tomorrow. A glider had been serviced to the tiniest part. All the equipment was ready and inspected. We borrowed seats and a tent for an emergency VIP area. I can't believe the mayor is coming.
一体何を見に来るのかしら。
I guess to see the flight.
なんかすみません。うちのおじいちゃんが。
With our new flight plan, we had to announce a new meeting location to all of our guests that we had invited. We'd gone over everyone's roles at the meeting before. There was nothing left to do.
私もうちょっと残ってく。
Oh, why's that?
起こしちゃえばいいんじゃない？
Oh yeah, Amane.
なんか気持ちよさそうに寝てるし。
The girls were talking about Amane. No one had told our supervisor about the flight plan change. She had been sleeping under the desk ever since she took her noon bath.
私もう少し残ってくから、アゲハたちは先帰ってていいよ。
Ageha thought a bit before nodding.
了解。じゃあ葵、お姫様のこと頼んだわよ。
Wait, who's the princess again? I missed it. Who's the princess again? Yeah.
先輩、明日頑張りましょうね。さようなら、先輩。
Later.
お先に失礼します。
Later.
お疲れ様っす。
Good night. Everyone headed home with Ageha. The huge hangar suddenly fell silent. It's great to have another guy around. If Harumi if Harumi hadn't been around, I would have been one to send. Wait, what? I would have been one to send them off. I would have been I think that should have been. I would have been the one to send them off. I think that was a typo. She's probably out like a light. She's probably just straight up gone. Just straight up gone.
寝てる。
Knowing how her mind works, it probably burned up a lot of energy. We waited a bit, but Amane showed no sign of waking. She's not going to move a muscle unless she smells food.
どっかに七輪とサンマでも落ちてないかしら。
No, I don't. What was she? A cat?
新しいフライトプラン見てほしいのに。
She was like a kid looking for approval. Like Yoru had said, she could not get away from Amane. I found it cute how Kotori never lost her innocent idolization of Amane. If you print it out and leave it by her pillow, she'll see it when she wakes up.
寝ぼけて食べちゃったりしないかしら。
I don't think the taste would be very pleasant for her, so she might react in a mannerism as not to eat it. Probably just a little bit of drool. I could not say it was impossible. Here, I'll put it under this guillotine. Oh yeah, this guillotine cup. She'll definitely find it then. Harumi had gone and bought some out for everyone during work.
明日フライト前にたっぷりと感想を聞くわ。
Kotori said reluctantly as she placed the printout of her new flight plan by Amane's pillow. She weighed it down with some peach guillotine. Stars.
星が綺麗。
I agree. The top of the hill offered a full view of the night sky.
ねえねえ、こっち来て。
Huh? Kotori trundled along with her cane. Careful, you'll trip again. And there she goes.
セーフ。
Are you sure about that? Kotori stumbled, but somehow managed to keep from falling over by flopping down on the grass instead. Hey, whatever works. Kotori's voice beside me was filled with awe.
ほら、葵も寝てみなさいよ。すごいわよ。
You know, back in the day, I used to do a little stargazing. What? I lay down on the grass and looked up. The starry sky completely filled my eyes. The air was especially clear tonight, and even the tiniest stars twinkled brightly. Wait a minute. Wait. I don't know about y'all, but I think I see a little bit of set of clouds that's kind of like dissipating out. Y'all see that? Y'all see that? Because maybe it's just me, but I can kind of see some clouds that's still kind of dissipating. So I wouldn't say it's completely clear. I guess it's clear enough. It's beautiful. Oh. Wait, no, they're holding hands. Don't look, they're holding hands. It's lewd, it's loud. Anyways. Kotori's eyes sparkled, and I took her hand in mine. It's like we're floating up into the sky, hand in hand. The twinkling stars seemed ready to sweep down on us.
星空の下を飛べたら気持ちいいでしょうね。宇宙にいるみたいに感じるんじゃないかしら。月にまで手が届きそう。
Kotori reached her other hand up toward the sky. It really did feel like you could reach out and touch the blazing moon. When we flew before dawn, it was so amazing to look down on the lights below.
綺麗だった。
That was the day we flew the cloud corridor. Looking down from the pre-dawn sky, we saw our town glowing below. It was like someone had spilled stardust over the hills.
それからほら、ユカさんたちのサイリウムの明かり。
Yeah. Everyone who'd come to help had held glow sticks covering the hill in a trail of light. Yes, indeed, Viking, a visual novel. This is If My Heart Had Wings Flight Diary. Haven't done it in a while, and hopefully planning to finish it up fairly soon, because it should be on the tail end of its completion. I'd never forget the feeling of seeing them like that.
キリノさん、あの光の中にいたんだね。
Yeah, I still can't believe it. I laughed, thinking about the day's revelation.
明日また飛ぶのか。
Kotori said, her voice sounding weak. Are you nervous? Kotori nodded sincerely. It was our first time going up since our practice flight before finals. Yeah, 81 parts in. Doesn't finish. Well, the funny thing is, many of those other 79 parts, if you will, those are actually pre-records. This is actually one of the few episodes that I've done to where it's actually been live. So a lot more time with that, because usually the other parts were only like 20 minute to 30 minute increments. So that's what made it so long. Kotori had messed up and caused a stall, so she hadn't flown since then. Oh yeah, I remember that time when she stalled the glider, and she had a passenger in there too. That was not good. And that was one thing you got to realize though, when you're operating any kind of heavy machinery, you need to be on point, because if you're not, you lose focus for 1 second, somebody can get hurt. That's one line off of the movie Ocean's 11, but it reigns true in just about every scenario. Apparently he squeezes. I would assume he squeezes his hand. Kotori gripped my hand more firmly.
もう最後なんだね。
Yeah.
なんかあんまり実感ないけど、でも明日飛んだらもう最後なんだ。
Something still doesn't sit right with this equalization to me. Or maybe it's just the in-ears. We might never fly the sky over Kazegarawa again. At the very least, it would be a while. We better put on a good show.
もちろんよ。後輩たちの目にかっこいい私たちを焼き付けさせなきゃ。
Uh-huh.
それが先輩としての私たちの最後の仕事だもん。
Great. Don't lose focus this time. Let me show you the world of blatant OSHA violations. No kidding. No kidding. Kotori said and rolled over to put her head on my chest. Oh, Snuggles is so cute.
葵、キスしよっか。
Oh. Oh. Hey, what's this all of a sudden? We weren't talking about that.
だってうずうずするんだもん。このままじゃ明日までこらえられそうにない。
Mm-hmm. Where did she think we were? Then again, I live in Brazil. Oh, Brazil. Very nice. OSHA safety inspectors probably refuse to set foot in this country by default. Well, there's a close-up for everybody, huh? There's a close-up for everybody, huh? Eh? There's a close-up for you. That's Kotori, darn it, I forgot her last name. I want to say Habane. But, yeah, that's the close-up for you. A little close-up for you. Front row seats to being booked in jail. Well, you know, yeah, it may come down to it. If somebody is either the near miss or anything like that, it could be, as far as the states go, that could be a charge referred to as reckless endangerment. Kotori started to crawl up onto me. Oh, okay. I was actually feeling the same as Kotori. I was so tense. It felt like I'd never sleep again. And it wasn't like we'd have to worry about anyone finding us out here at this time of night. All right, visual novel, let's keep this TOS, okay? Let's keep this TOS, let's keep this PG-13. Thank you. We held each other there on the grass, kissing deeply. Her lips pressing against mine were soft and sweet. The sweet and lovely feeling quickly turned to sadness as we thought about losing each other. Kotori's lips left mine, and her face looked so lonely.
引退したら離れ離れになっちゃうね。
After I left the club, I'd be moving out of the dorm. Between the club and the dorm, Kotori and I had been together all the time, and now we were leaving both of those behind. Yeah, I guess so.
ちょっとは心配とかしたらどうなの？
About what?
大学だってさ、一緒に行かないしさ、住むとこだって別だしさ。
There were lots of couples who lived like that.
心配じゃないの？私、美少女よ。
I'd say that comes a lot down to discipline, which is directly proportional to your attitude. So as long as you remain faithful, there shouldn't be a problem. Kotori said, her face totally serious. How old are you? Can you still call yourself a maiden? Oh, great. Now we're gonna go into the whacking here. Ugh. I'm sorry. My girlfriend will always be a beautiful young maiden. Oh my gosh, these folks in this dang age stuff. My gosh. You know, getting older really ain't all that bad. Maybe it's just me and I may not understand, but at the same time, getting older ain't all that bad. You know how many folks actually leave me alone at this age? It's not that I'm not worried, but...
けど
I've got a secret weapon. I'll show you later. I dodged her question by standing up with her in my arms. Okay, let's go home.
やだ。もうちょっとここにいたい。
Just a little longer. Kotori said and clamped onto me. We've got to turn in early.
じゃあおんぶして。
Dang. Kotori didn't wait for my answer, just climbed up on my back. What a spoiled little princess. But I started to walk, carrying her on my back.
よーし、突破せー。
Anyone to get vibes of Asuna and Kirito / Kazuto from Sword Art Online? That face of disappointment is how cashiers react when they see me joining their queue. Yeah, understandable. It's also how I appear when basically I see an IT request ticket and it's something so simple that would just fix itself with a reboot, but it wasn't tried by the end user. Yes, Your Majesty. Oh my gosh. Playing the white horse rather than the knight, I charged off into the darkness. I tell you, this music score is good, though. Well, look who's finally awake. You'd hate me as an end user, you gotta support. My luck is that bad. With a little education, I'm pretty sure we can remedy some of those. The only problem now is you're wide awake in the middle of the night, unless you're just nocturnal.
おー、ゼリーだ。食べていいのかな。いただきます。
With her metabolism, she could almost eat anything. Once I spent 2 months arguing with my internet service provider because my packets were all being routed through the single dead relay in a data center in Rio, and I could only access Google services. Every packet to every other corner of the internet simply died en route. Ouch. Were all the DNS nodes down?
フライトプラン改定分。ああ、今夜は星が綺麗に見えるな。うん、明日は晴れそうだ。
Extend the little wings which fly in the sky highly. No matter what DNS I switched to, all my packets ended up being routed through there because Brazilian infrastructure is crap. Ouch. I almost want to say, was it twisted pair copper or was it fiber? It was a morning like any other. But for us, it was special. I woke up a little earlier than normal to put on something special to match the occasion. Wait, is this Kotori? This might be Kotori speaking. I'm gonna speak it as if I'm narrating Kotori. Kotori whipped the curtains open.
Yosh.
At least it wasn't bad as that time as all my traffic somehow got rerouted through Colombia and my IP address showed up in a random dude's house in Cartagena. Sorry to hear so much trouble, Viking. Sorry to hear. Sunlight streamed through the gap in the curtains and over my face, like a kick to the eyelids. I looked at the clock and groaned. It was 40 minutes before my alarm. That was a real yawn, by the way. I crawled out of bed, yawning, and... They kill me. They kill me with doing the sound effect they just did, that they just played, and just putting it in text. Open the curtains. Okay. No way in heck a teenager's room looks that clean, by the way. You'd be surprised. The sky was clear. It was a perfect day for a flight. Today was our final flight. The last time we would fly as part of the Keifuu Academy Soaring Club. The day we would return to the sky. I washed my face, brushed my teeth, and fixed my bedhead. There was no need to hurry, but I still rushed to Kotori's door, which I found already open.
Ohayo, Aoi.
Good morning, Kotori? You're all dressed up today.
今朝の空に合わせてコーディネートしたのよ。見なかった？窓から。
Hey, how's it going, milk chocolate? I saw. I think you match it perfectly. I think you match it perfectly. Tongue twisters here. Tongue twisters, man. You know what? You would be surprised how many bloopers there are when these folks even voice any of these lines. I tell you.
当然。
Once she'd finished getting ready, I had Kotori help me make breakfast for everyone. Yes, and then some. I wonder if it's the bowline tie. She made sandwiches and packed them into lunch boxes.
ここで食べていかないの？
I imagine Amane's getting hungry.
危ないわ。
Dang, Asa. You went straight zombie mode, didn't you? She's straight in zombie mode. Let's see here. Now I wonder if there's a visual novel for Yosuga no Sora. If it is, by all means, let me know in my Discord server under media suggestions. I'll give it a look at, but I'll have to determine based on the vetting if I'll cover it. Asa came in, rubbing her eyes. She honestly looked asleep on her feet.
おはようございます。
Meanwhile, Yoru is absolutely wide awake. Yoru followed her in.
おはよう、双子シスターズ。
Morning. You look awful sleepy, Asa.
昨日の夜、ドキドキしてあまり眠れなかったです。
I think she might need some coffee. It's one of those infamous animes whose genre is I can't believe it's not H. I can't believe it's not off-brand. It would be nice if something can stay away from the off-brand realm, but unfortunately Rule 34.
先輩たちはちゃんと眠れたんですか？
Yeah.
バッチリよ。ほらね、姉さんが心配することじゃないのよ。この人たち、見た目以上に肝が太いんだから。
Today we've packed breakfast. Let's all eat at the site. And packed some coffee for her. To be fair, I'll take off brand ReZero if they release the season. Oh my gosh. I love this track. It kind of gives me weather report vibes, like somebody's actually just giving a report on the weather and it's like it's clear, sunny and everything. And funny enough, the name of the track is called Brightening Way. Small, fluffy clouds floated gently in the brilliant blue sky, a perfect match for Kotori's dress. And apparently even Hat is giving his 2 cents of how nice the weather is.
ハットちゃんも一緒に行きたいの？
Or he wants to go with them.
しょうがないわね。特別に連れてってあげましょうか。ハットちゃん、行って。
I don't think ducks normally talk like this.
ついに姉さんまでアヒルと会話し始めた。
Yoro, it's not that bad. It's no different from talking to any other animals. Dogs, your cats, your hamsters. Not that much difference. Not that much difference.
おーい、みんなアゲハ、おはよう。おはようございます、アゲハ先輩。おはようございます。
We ran into Ageha in front of the convenience store, almost like we'd planned it. You're early. We've still got tons of time.
昨日気合い入れて早く寝すぎちゃってさ。そしたら早く目が覚めちゃったのよ。
She must have come to get breakfast at the convenience store. If you're after breakfast, here you go. We made you some too. Of course we are.
さあ、行きましょう。私さっきからお腹ペコペコなの。
Here we are. The sound of the metal door opening echoed through the inside of the hangar. The interior was filled with a calm mood. It was a special privilege for the first person to enter and enjoy that sensation. Or so I thought.
葵くんか。早いな。
Oh, hey, Amane.
あまねちゃん。
Kotori followed me in, her face surprised.
本当だ。おはよう、あまねちゃん。もう起きてたんだ。ああ、昨日の10時頃に起きたからな。どうだ、早起きだろう。
Did she not sleep anymore after that? Okay.
それ、寝てないだけじゃないの。自慢げに言うのやめてくれる？
She'd been the first one up, though, no doubt. What'd you do all night?
機体の点検をな。一応監督だからな。
This is true. Yeah, probably not milk chocolate.
けど、さすがアゲハだな。どこも文句のつけようがなかった。当たり前よ。あまねちゃんこそ変なとこ触って壊したりしてないでしょうね。 んなことしないぞ。ところで、ねえ、見てくれた？何をだ？昨日枕元に置いといたでしょ？ああ、あのゼリーは小鳥がくれたのか。桃がプリプリで美味しかった。
Amane, that's actually not what she's referring to, but at the same time, when you say it, that can mean almost anything. Because there's a lot of things that classify as it nearby, especially near the pillow.
違う！神よ神！新しいフライトプラン見てないの？
Then why didn't you just say the flight plan? Ugh. Anyways.
あれか。読んだぞ。どうだった？
Kotori asked nervously.
いいんじゃないか。それだけ？そうだな。前のよりずっと君たちらしいと思った。
Kotori grabbed my arm and hopped in glee.
実はさっきからなんだか落ち着かなくてな。それで機体の点検をしていた。早く君たちが飛ぶところが見たいんだ。
Ooh, even she's stoked.
今聞いた？葵。
Yes, I did.
見せてあげるからね。私たちの最後のフライト。
We heard the hangar door open behind us. Ageha and the others were supposed to be in the office.
あれ、先輩たちもう来てるっす。
本当だ。まだ1時間あるのに。
Morning, you two. You're here early.
おはようございます、先輩。中村さんと2人で明日は早く行こうって言ってたっすよ。
何か準備できることとかないかと思ったんですが。
ね、私たちはね、楽しみなことがあると張り切りすぎちゃう人たちなのよ。
I'd say it's a common trait among us human beings. I guess it was the nerves, almost like a bunch of kids.
おはようっす。
Well, look who it is. After Haruka and Harumi, it was Izuka's turn to come in.
いやー、なんか張り切りすぎちゃって予定より1時間も早起きしちゃったよ。
Izuka's high energy greeting brought a smile to all of our faces.
伝統だな、ソアリング部の。何が？
Anyway. Well, since everyone's here, how about some breakfast? Made enough for everyone.
はーい、葵くんのお弁当だ。
It was 9 in the morning. That meant our guests would be arriving soon. We finished breakfast and our pre-flight preparations too.
小鳥、フライト前の挨拶よろしく。そうね。
Kotori climbed up on a box at Ageha's urging. Maybe it wasn't the best idea, but I didn't say anything. Kotori was light as a feather, so she would not hurt whatever was in the box.
ご本。では、部長よりありがたい訓示を一つ。今日は大勢の人が見に来てくれます。でもって、その人たち次第で部の存続が危うかったり、ここにおられるイスカさんの野望がついえたりします。とっても大切な日です。
Isuka pumped one fist in the air. She was clearly ready to go. Maybe it's just me, but I don't see a fist of Isuka in the air. I see partially a fist of Kotori in the air. Am I being too picky?
ですが、それは一旦忘れましょう。忘れちゃうんですか？
Kotori nodded.
まずは私たちが楽しむこと、私たちらしくね。
And she's got a point.
楽しむことを全力で頑張る。もしそれでダメなんだったら、きっとそれはしょうがないことなのよ。
When she said this, Kotori suddenly choked up. Everyone waited until she found her words again. I'm pretty sure that was supposed to say everyone.
自分の好きなことで、大切な場所で嘘をついちゃダメ。飛ぶなら私たちらしく。なんか結構まともなことを言ってる気がする。
They're shocked.
てっきりもっとネタに走るものと思ってたのに、こりゃ昨日から考えてたな。部長、かっこいいっす。
俺感動しました。
Kotori had a satisfied grin on her face. She threw her fist into the air and shouted.
さあ、行くわよ野郎ども。
I guess that's their official subtitle, The Birdies. The roar of approval reverberated throughout the hangar. It was showtime. We opened the hangar loading door and saw that people were already gathering. There were the members of the local Chamber of Commerce my mom and Aga's dad had invited. The Keifuu Academy teachers had arrived as well, dragged along by Mr. Tobioka. Old Man Kazuto and his group arrived in expensive-looking shiny black cars. And then there were our original guests, all of the people we'd invited because of the support they'd given us.
Yo, 来たぞ。
Yo, Tatsuya, what's happening, bruh? Tatsuya!
おはよう、
おーっす、来てやったぞ。
Thanks for coming, Otaru. You too, Masa.
あーちゃんがね、絶対見なきゃ損するって。
I see.
俺も一応手伝ったんだしな。
We'll do our best.
承知しねえぞ。
We'll do our best not to. Yeah, we know.
五十嵐くん、来てくれてありがとう。
俺たちは引退フライトなんてできなかったもんな。
Oh.
そうだね。
俺らの分まで葵たちに飛んでもらおう。
Hey, you just add more weight on us that we don't need right now. Okay, I'm counting on you later.
ああ、任せとけ。
おじいちゃん。
おお、朝久しぶりじゃのう。元気じゃったか。お前今度部長になるそうじゃな。
先輩たちがね、私がいいって言ってくれたの。
そうかそうか。
俊一おじさんもお久しぶりです。
いやあ、朝ちゃん大きくなったね。今日は楽しみにしてるよ。
うわー、本当に市長さん来てるよ。あの顔、選挙ポスターで見たことある。あっちに市議会議員もいますね。ここで選挙活動でもする気かしら。どちらかというと視察？お、先生たちも大勢来てるじゃないか。賑やかだな。飛び岡発見。今度邪魔したらただじゃおかないんだから。
Easy, Kotori.
コットリちゃん。あ、ひばりね、なんでいるの？
She's your sister, Kotori. She's here to support you.
だって今日は小鳥ちゃんの晴れ舞台ですもの。お姉ちゃん、お仕事お休みしてきちゃった。それ何？ビデオカメラ？そうよ。これで撮影してお父さんとお母さんにも見せてあげるの。
I don't see a camera. Probably bad budget.
きっと感動するわよ。我が家の家宝になるわね。
Yeah, everyone is pretty much excited.
ひばりねえなら編集して字幕まで入れてくれそうね。
Look, even Kaneko showed up. Hey, Kaneko, looks like you brought a whole crowd. They must have been her college friends. She had about 10 people along.
見たいって子みんな連れてきちゃった。未来のクラブ会員候補だよ。
Is that right? Oh, good. I'm not the only one who didn't see a camera. I didn't see no camera. I was like, man, what is this? No budget. It was no budget for a camera. It was no budget. That's a huge help.
葵くん、ほんの数日で随分といい顔になったね。
Really?
他のみんなもそうだね。いい顔になってる。若いっていいな。
Kaneko, you ain't that old. I'm the only one who can say that out of this whole stream. I mean, you're still pretty young.
あら、ハット先輩、こんちゃーす。
Would you mind looking after him?
はいよ。ハット先輩、一緒に見てよっか。やっぱりここだった。
A voice thick with resentment pierced the happy atmosphere.
望月先生。
Not right now, Akari. Not right now.
あかりだ。
Amane turned to escape Akari, whose face was frozen in a mask of rage.
お待ちなさい。やだ、叱られる。
Amane ducked for safety behind her dear friend's back.
いつか助けてくれ。どうしたの、あまね。望月先生。ああ。
Izuka grabbed her cowering friend by the scruff of the neck and placed her in front of Akari.
うわあ、何をする。
Can't run away from what you did, Amane. The best to just face it, learn from it, and move on.
大人なんでしょ。じゃあ責任は取らないとね。ご協力感謝します。さあ、望月先生。やだ、帰らないぞ。私には監督の仕事があるんだ。じゃあそれが終わったらおとなしく帰ってきてくださいますか。
Are you her assistant or her mother?
終わったらな。わかりました。ではそれまで私もここで待たせていただきます。そうするといい。きっと楽しいから。
People kept gathering, and before anyone noticed, it was like a festival had formed in front of the hangar.
今日もまたすっごい人っすね。
ああ、こんなに人が集まるなんて。先輩たち、本当何者なんだ？
It's not always what you know, but who you know.
水瀬くん、小鳥ちゃん、いいかな。
Sure.
何ですか？挨拶に行くよ。
Izuka dragged Kotori and me to greet Kazuto and his group.
今日は暑い中、わざわざご足労いただきありがとうございます。
Old man Kazuto nodded, his face dark, as if he was a totally different person from the one who chatted with Asa. You could tell what Izuka was thinking, just from her face.
怖いよ。
She was trembling all over. However, Kotori was different.
ちゃんと見ててくださいね。私たちのフライト。
もちろんじゃ。そのために来たんじゃからな。もしつまらんものを見せたらどうなるか分かっとるじゃろうな。
もちろんよ。
Kotori stared defiantly in response to Kazuto's challenge.
ただのお遊びサークルじゃないってとこ、しっかり見せてあげるわ。
Whoa, whoa, settle down, Kotori!
小鳥ちゃん。
Izuka and I were stunned by her display.
小娘が言いよるわ。
Yeah, let's hope that your attitude is a little bit bigger than your mouth. After we moved on, a group gathered around Kazuto, as his friends and would-be friends offered their greetings. Hey, you sure it's okay to talk to him like that?
僕、心臓が止まるかと思ったよ。いいのいいの。挑発してきたのはあっちなんだから。
That don't mean you gotta perpetuate it. Still, she didn't have to go and respond like that. What had she been thinking?
それじゃあ、僕はあっちで見てるから。頑張ってね、二人とも。
Izuka said and walked off, her expression worried. I looked over the crowd that had gathered. There were so many people, and they'd all come just to see our flight. At this point, let's just imagine there's a whole bunch of people within the panning of this image right here. It looks like everyone we invited is here. Kotori nodded.
皆さん、聞いてください。
The babble from the crowd faded out as Kotori called out.
本日は朝早くからお集まりいただき、ありがとうございます。これより、私たち慶風学園ソアリング部5年生の引退フライトを始めたいと思います。
It just goes to show, Milk Chocolate, that a lack of budget does not only apply to voice acting, but also for drawings. The club members went into action.
下がってくださいっす。
スペースを空けてください。
The younger students moved the crowd back to the space in front of the hangar door. Then we brought the glider out in pieces. First was the fuselage. Next, we brought out the main wings. The crowd let out an "Ooh" when they saw the size of them. Man, I tell you, I'll bet you it was something to see that.
あれがグライダーの翼ですか。大きいですな。
All right, we'll go ahead and do this for the record.
そりゃそうじゃわい。何せエンジンの力を借りず、あの翼だけで飛ぶのじゃからな。
That they do. We assembled the glider, putting each section together one by one. It was the first time for most of the crowd to see this kind of work. There were some who'd seen us fly, but not seen us assemble the plane. They all watched with interest. Come on, Milk Chocolate, you know I gotta be a little bit on the cringy side. I gotta be on the cringy side just a little bit. We already know I'm not that great.
ずれてるずれてる。一旦戻して。そう、もう一回最初から。
We could feel the eyes of the teachers in Kazuto's group on us as we worked. And we needed them to understand how serious we took this work. But there was another reason we were serious. We were going to fly through the sky. We were going someplace it took humans centuries to reach. A single mistake could lead to disaster. We could not ease up, no matter how often we'd done this work before. We were always this serious. With the main wings attached, we moved on to the tail wings. The separate parts came together and soon we had put together our wide-winged glider. We'd given the audience a complete view from start to finish.
よーし、組み立て完了。次、点検いくよ。
We gave the glider a thorough inspection after every assembly. Were the wings secure? Was the pilot tube clear? Or was that something else? I could go back on the list, but I'm just going to move on. Were the tires aired and undamaged? Had we left any tools behind? Aga directed everyone carefully through the checklist, point by point. And guess what? This is also done, checklists like this is also done by regular commercial aviation every single time.
じゃあ次、ポジティブコントロールチェック。葵、コックピットお願い。
Yeah. As we went matter-of-factly through the check, those who knew about gliding probably started to get confused. I wonder if that shouldn't say those who did not know.
どうしてここで組み立てるんじゃ？まず滑走路へ運ばんといかんじゃろ。
Okay, the context is right then. Okay.
先にグライダーの全身を我々に見せるつもりでしょうか。
朝ちゃん、夜ちゃん、あれをお願い。
I got called out to the twins when the check neared completion. Asa and Yoru headed toward the hangar. Kotori watched from the side, then walked to the hillside and looked out over the scenery. A strong wind blew from the lake and fluttered her long black hair. I guess there was no budget to draw that out either or animate it.
十分。
Kotori whispered to herself and turned to the crowd, her face determined.
それではこれより発行準備に入ります。
何？ここで？
まさかあの子たち。
Oh boy, everyone hang on to your seats.
そのまさかだ。
If that's coming from Amane, believe it. Asa and Yoru, with help from Harumi and Haruka, brought out something from the hangar.
よし、出番か。行くぞ、麻婆、ホタル。
おお、またあれやんのか。
なんだかワクワクするね。私も行くか。ハット先輩、ちょっとだけここで待っててね。わー。
And the fact he's just sitting there, too. The ones we'd asked in advance started appearing out of the crowd. The others all buzzed in confusion, wondering what was happening.
なんでしょうかな、あれは。
なんと。ありゃゴム柵じゃ。
A launch bungee, how about that?
ゴム柵。
Exactly. It was a rubber launch bungee. It was the rope that we'd used instead of our broken winch, back when we'd flown the Morning Glory.
今日はここから飛び立ちます。この丘から皆さんのお力をお借りして。
なんじゃと？
Yeah, audience participation is one way to leave a mark.
この丘から。
It was this bungee that had been stored away in the hangar, which had formed the heart of our new flight plan. It was why we moved the venue from the runway to our secret base.
これはゴム柵栄光という発行方式です。このゴムの束を皆さんに引いてもらって、その反動で離陸します。
When everyone pulls on this length of rubber, the recoil will help us take off. The crowd started to grow restless. I could tell what they were thinking. Can pulling on some rubber band really help a plane take off? This isn't just some slingshot. We ourselves had felt the same the first time we'd heard about it. Hey, how's it going, Incubus? Welcome in. However, with this hill, it was a perfectly good way to launch.
もう少し人数が欲しいわね。皆さん、ご協力をお願いしたいのですが、誰かこのゴムを一緒に引いてくれませんか？
And what better way to get them to help than to get the two cute twins here to ask it? Very, very clever. Very, very clever. A few curious people stepped forward to answer the twins' call. Even a few teachers. Tobioka, who'd spent the whole time avoiding us, was urging the other teachers on.
僕も引くよ。
Izuka came running up, nerves clearly jangling.
どうかされましたか？
なんでもない。
よーし、これで足りるわね。葵、小鳥、そろそろ出番だよ。
Yeah.
了解。
While the others got the bungee ready, we climbed into the cockpit.
では発行準備に入る前に説明を。まずこちらにいる朝ちゃんと夜ちゃんの2チームに分かれてもらいます。
Oh, you know, Incubus, I'm staying out of trouble. As usual.
そんでもって引っ張ってもらうわけですけど。
I gotta explain the bungee launch system to everyone. The bungee cable was a long rope made from rubber, split into two halves part way through. Interesting. One end of the split section was given to each team. The important point was that each team pulled with the same amount of force. That's why we had the identical twins pace off how far they were to pull. It's about time. It was impossible to relax in the cockpit, waiting for flight prep. I went over the flight plan in my head. So you're in charge of takeoff, just like we discussed.
了解。
Kotori's voice was tight with worry. It had been so long since we had last flown. And this was her last time to touch the sky as a student.
ところでさ、
Oh? What?
さっきからハさんとこのおじいちゃん妙に不機嫌そうなんだけど。
It was true. For some reason, he was glaring red-faced at the bungee preparations. Do you think this was a mistake?
なんか昔グライダーに乗ってたって言ってたもんね。
It was an odd choice, since we had a runway with a winch, to use this somewhat risky takeoff style. Did he find it offensive for some reason?
お嬢さん、
はい。
一つお尋ねしたいのじゃが、どうしてこのような方法で飛ぼうとしておるのかね。ウインチが故障でもしたんですかな。
いえいえ、違います。あれはですね。
Amane and Kazuto were talking about something.
何？もしかして中止させようってんじゃ。
He might. Amane was our supervisor, if only for today. If the supervisor stopped the flight, it was over. As Kazuto listened to Amane talk, his face got even redder, and he began speaking in a rage. But flight preparations went on. Ageha attached the launch bungee to the tow hook underneath the glider. Kotori checked the hook controls once.
では皆さん、ゴム柵を持ってください。
Everyone grabbed the bungee on Ageha's order.
もう我慢できん。
Old man Kazuto rage fell like lightning.
何？
わしにもやらせるのじゃ。
Oh, now he wants to get involved. Well, how about that? He couldn't hold in his excitement. He had to get involved with it. This is getting very, very interesting. Okay, anyways.
アゲハー、この人もゴム柵を引きたいって。
Amane's carefree voice clashed with a raging look on Kazuto's face. But could it be that he simply resented being left out?
どうぞどうぞ。
行くぞ、シュン。お前も来い。
There's something about audience participation.
はい。
And with that, Kazuto and the mayor joined with the crowd of people holding the bungee.
何あれ、ずっと自分も引きたかったってこと？
Take it as a blessing. At least he ain't trying to bark about us stopping. I guess. Maybe he'd gone so red because he couldn't bring himself to say it. Great, another tsundere bozo. He was a different man now. Man. He was a different man now that he was holding the bungee rope. His eyes sparkled like a kid who's got his favorite toy.
グライダーってこんな方法で飛ぶんですか？
It's one of the ways.
バカ者。今時こんな方法で飛ぶグライダーなどあるもんか。
Oh, so they went old school on his rump to get him more involved and also to spark his interest.
ですが、
ゴム作栄光はわしらの青春じゃった。
Very clever. Very clever.
青春？それいつの時代ですか？
わしの若い頃はな、学校の体育の授業でプライマリー機を使ったフライト訓練があったんじゃ。その時用いられたのがこのゴム作栄光じゃ。懐かしいな。
じゃあ今時こんなことするのは。
よほどのバカか、物好きじゃな。こんな方法で離陸してあのモーニンググローリーを目指したとは、こしゃくな若造どもめ。
なんだかよくわからないけど、あっちは大丈夫そうね。
Once the bungee launch prep was over, Aga came over.
二人とも準備いい？
Yeah.
すぐにでも飛べるわ。よし、じゃあグッドラック。
Aga closed the canopy. The noise and bustle of the outside world shut off, and our senses sharpened. The tension increased despite our efforts.
これが最後のフライトなんだね。
Kotori whispered to herself.
ようやく実感が湧いてきたかも。
Yeah, same here. All of these people had come for this, for us, for our flight. And only now that they had, did we understand its real value. We better put on a good show. I said the same as I had the night before.
ええ、それが私たちの最後の仕事だもん。
As senior students, we wanted to be good role models for the younger members. We also wanted everyone watching to see why we loved the sky and why we had worked so hard to get where we are. We felt that this was the fastest, most direct way to deal with all the problems the club was facing. Kotori glanced at the sky spreading out beyond the canopy. The sky is so far away. She had the same look as that last time, when she'd whispered those words. Just as I was wondering if I should talk to her, Aga's voice penetrated the silence.
では発行準備を始めます。いきますよ。
The teams holding the bungee took pace as Aga counted them off. The bungee began to tighten. We could no longer see the teams from the cockpit. All we could do was listen to the voices outside counting down. Our nerves tightened right along with the bungee.
やっぱりこれちょっと怖いね。
I would imagine. And if anything, I'd say you're probably going to pull a few G's. Yeah. I can't believe we really took off like this before. And in the pre-dawn dark, aiming at the lake. It seems so reckless now. But at the time, we were just happy to be flying. We had been so excited to be taking off toward the morning glory, we'd forgotten how scary it was. And now here we are again. Or here we were again. Nervous. Afraid. But as the moment approached, those feelings turned into exaltation. Our parachutes are in the plane ready needing. Unfortunately not, Milk. Unfortunately not. Just like the bungee stretched tight to launch us in the air, we were storing up energy. All our feelings were built up into our pounding chests, awaiting the moment of release. I'm not scared. You'll get us up there. Ageha, directing the teams on the hill, stopped counting.
作準備よし。
It was time. Launch preparations were complete.
飛ぶのか？本当にこんな方法で？
見ててください。すっごい迫力っすよ。いよいよだ。頼んだよ、二人とも。
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, they're not going in this completely blindsided. They do have some backup plans, obviously. Agaha looked over to us.
いい？
Yeah. Kotori gave Agaha the thumbs up. It was time to go back. To the sky.
行ってこい！
Agaha gave the signal to launch. Kotori cried out.
さあ、楽しみわよ！
She released the wheel brakes. And just as she did, the bungee contracted and the glider was thrown towards the slope. The acceleration was instant. Oof! The uneven ground shook us in the cockpit, but only for a moment.
あげるわ！
Kotori pulled back on the yoke. The glider tilted and began to lift.
浮いた！離陸成功！
いや、まだ。これからよ。
The energy from the bungee could only take us a few meters off the ground. It wasn't nearly enough acceleration. We'd soon run out of lift and fall. Kotori immediately pushed the yoke forward. The nose dropped and the glider began to descend. But we were on the hillside. Even if we lost height, we would not crash. Our wings caught the lake wind and the glider slid down the face of the hill. Yo, look at Akari right now. She looks completely just stunned and like, oh my freaking gosh, what is happening? Akari is literally just like, oh snap. Man.
何度見てもハラハラする離陸方法だな。
With the strong winds, we achieved enough airspeed and took off down the hill. Before we knew it, we were out over the lake. Our view suddenly opened up, and we looked out over the lakeshore scenery. Oh my gosh, Milk, you funny. Sufficient airspeed achieved. Altitude, also sufficient. Takeoff is a success.
了解。すぐに U ターンするわ。
There were downward air currents over the lake. It wouldn't be good to stay over the lake too long. Kotori immediately began to turn the glider.
おお、飛んだぞ、飛びおったぞ。見たかしゅん。
見ましたよ。
まさかこの年になってホム作栄光を目の当たりにできるとはの。
Got him! Got him!
なかなか面白いものを見せてもらいましたよ。これは迫力がある。
まだだよ。
なんじゃと。
まだこの発光方法の半分を見たに過ぎないわ。ここからがすごいんだから。
なんじゃ、どういうことじゃ。もったいぶらずに。
What makes you think they're making it up?
あ、戻ってきた。何？
ほらほら、戻ってきたっすよ、中村さん。
あんな低いところを飛んでる。大丈夫なのか？
大丈夫っすよ。見ててください。
After our U-turn over the lake, we headed back toward Windmill Hill. It's a nice sunny day. No need for the light stick trail today.
その分、みんなの姿がよく見えるわ。
Everyone looks so small waving below us. We headed the glider back toward our takeoff point. Oof. As we passed over the water and reached the hill, it felt like a hand grabbed us from below and pushed us up. Kotori immediately pulled the yoke back and raised the nose.
スロープリフトに乗ったわ。
When the wind blew off the lake, it got pushed up the hill and caused updrafts. That was called ridge lift. When those strong updrafts caught the wings, the glider climbed quickly. It all happened so quickly. The speeding glider flew between the turbines and whipped over everyone's head. And as we passed over the hangar at the top,
あまねちゃんだ。
we saw Amane apart from everyone else, watching us quietly.
飛び立つこと。その大変さを君たちはよく知っている。みんなで翼を作り、飛ぶための場所を作ってきた君たちだから、どう飛ぶかじゃない。まずは飛び立たないといけない。
True that.
君たちはそれをよく知っていて、そして楽しんでる。
There's a message in that.
それでこそ君たちだ。さあ行け。大空高く舞い上がれ。この風すごい。どこまでも高く飛べそう。
Our glider, pardon me, our glider, caught in the updrafts, climbed up and up. We were already far past Windmill Hill. We now could see all of Mikazukikata Hill. Try saying that 10 times. We finally come back to the sky. Kotori stares out the scenery with excited eyes. Hyper-modern buildings stretched out through the lush greenery, and the old town spread out around it. This was our home, Kazegara. And there just below was the wide blue lake. We'd flown this route and seen this sight so many times, but Kotori stared like it was her first time.
あれ、ハンちゃんさんの工場じゃない？じゃあ飛び予想はあの辺りかな。
Should I take the stick?
大丈夫。
Kotori stopped gazing at the scenery and once more took firm control.
なんだろう。なんかいつもと違って見える。
Huh? It's probably just been a while.
どうだろう。そうじゃない気がする。
Kotori said in wonder and spread her hand against the canopy dome.
ずっと高く登ってきたのに、空は果てしなくて、雲はまだずっと遠い。
Tiny clouds scooted or scudded past far over our heads. I imagined the thermals we were riding led straight to them.
でもね、
Kotori closed her hand as if to catch those clouds.
今日はなんだか雲にも手が届きそうなの。きっとみんなが翼に力をくれたからね。
Is your heart pounding?
さっきからちょっとうるさいくらい。
Let's go. We can go as high as we want. If we circled the core of the thermal updraft, the glider could climb higher and higher. We could head for those far-off clouds.
向こうの撤収完了しました。
しましたっす。お客さんの移動も終わりました。一人の迷子もなく無事誘導できました。ありがとう。お疲れ様。とりあえず無事飛び立ってくれてよかったわ。ぶっつけ本番でヒヤヒヤしたけど。
Yeah, it would be absolutely scary if there was no practice.
でもうまくいったっすよ。
俺マジで感動しました。ケイフーに来てソアリング部入ってよかったです。
またあれが見られるなんて思ってませんでした。
I mean, it really is something to get a glider in the air like that. That's no small task.
とても綺麗だったわね。観客の皆さんにも好評みたいだね。昨日急に言い出した時はどうしようかと思ったけど、やってよかったわ。
見たかシュン、あれがグライダーじゃ。
いやはや、もっと牧歌的な乗り物を想像してましたが驚きました。
ガリそうじゃろうそうじゃろう。さらにな、モーニンググローリーというのがあってな。
もう何あれ、小鳥ちゃんたちかっこよすぎだよ。僕泣いちゃいそうだった。
Ah, go ahead and cry. Tatsuya will hold you.
ああ、まったくだ。見てるこっちまでうずいてくるよな。
Okay, hold each other.
僕も飛びたい。今すぐ飛びたいよ。なんで僕途中で夢を諦めちゃったんだろう。
まだ時間はあるさ。今度こそ一緒に飛ぼうぜ、いつか。
I kind of figured that was gonna happen. Sorry, folks, it's a little late.
小鳥ちゃんの勇姿バッチリ撮れたわ。どれどれ。おお、これはいいアングルですね。わっわっ小鳥ちゃんは本当にすごい子だわ。あんなに可愛くて空まで飛んじゃうんだもの。本当に天使なんじゃないかしらねえ、かなこさん。そうかも。
Yeah, I could see Kaneko's eyes just like going from side to side and like, okay.
これは勝負ありましたね。何の勝負だ？プレゼンテーションですよ。対象となる人たちまで巻き込んでのあのパフォーマンス、文句のつけようもないです。現に先生方も風戸さんのおじいさんもおお、そういえばそんな話もあったな。忘れないでくださいよ。そのために私たち協力してたんですから。違うぞ。何が違うんですか？楽しそうだったからだ。楽しそうだから仲間に入れてもらったんだ。はあ、 そういった気質こそ望月先生の素晴らしいところです。ですがやはり誰かがそばについてないといけませんね。
And you made a conscious decision to be that one to do that.
頼りにしてるぞあかり。お任せあれ。
ちくしょう、あいつら最後までかっこいいな。
ほんとだね。あーちゃんたちだけちょっとずるいよね。
お前もスワーリング部入りゃいいじゃねえか。まだ1年あんだからさ。
それもいいか
お、どういう風の吹き回しだ？今まで誘われても入らなかったくせに。
な。だってもうあーちゃんも青兄も引退しちゃうし。
そうか、葵と一緒の部活が嫌だったんだな。わかるぞその気持ち。あいつといるとなんか自分がかすむっつうか。
そんなとこ。さてと、上の状況はどんな感じですかね。かなり高く上がってるみたいだけど。
ここからだと見えませんね。
もしかして雲の上にいるとか。いやー、さすがにそれは。でも今日のあの子たちならあるいは。
お嬢さん、ちょっとよろしいかな。
はい。理事長。はいはい、なんでしょう。
少しお願いがあるんじゃ
は？もしもーし、こちら現場のアゲハちゃんです。聞こえますか？どうぞ。こちら小鳥ちゃん、聞こえるわよ。どうぞ。ではこれより現場から生の声をお届けしたいと思います。はい、1番の方どうぞ。
何十も見せてくれよったんじゃ。
Well then.
Got him!
Stay focused, Kotori. An enormous voice leapt from the radio. Kotori's instinctive leap shook the glider. Kotori, focus! Focus! What was that?
この声、朝のおじいちゃん？
おかげで気持ちが青春時代にタイムスリップしてしまったぞ。もう追い先短い身じゃというのに、この熱くたぎる血をどうしてくれる？
The chairman was very excited.
いや、知らんし。
いいか、わしも飛ぶぞ。そしてモーニンググローリーを目指す。わしの人生最後の夢じゃ。
This was all very sudden. Kotori and I both sat dumbfounded, unsure what to say. And then...
今度はイスカさん？僕、感動した。思わず泣いちゃったもん。あれが昨日急遽変更したってやつなんだよね。こんな隠し玉持ってたなんてずるい。絶対何があってもクラブを作って僕もそこへ行くからね。先輩、かっこよかったっす。小鳥ちゃん、素敵だったわ。ちゃんと一部始終カメラに収めたからね。
かっこよかったぞ、二人とも。
お前らばっかずりんかよ、ちくしょう。
One after the other, people got on the radio to congratulate us. As soon as one person finished, the next would start. Some we knew, and others we didn't. A crowd of people all struggling to tell us how impressed they were.
以上、地上より感動の声をお届けしました。
2 minutes later.
嬉しいけど、ちょっと疲れたわね。
Figure it out. Yeah.
というわけで、こっちは移動も完了したんだけど、そっちはどんな感じ？現在、高度900メートルってところ。 湖を避けて迂回してる。そろそろ戻ってこられる？了解。すぐにそっちに向かうわ。
We were planning on doing some aerobatics over the runway next. It still was a good idea to do a little aerobatics, and we did have Ageha's equipment. Are you ready?
十分飛んだわ。それにみんなが待ってるし。
That really was something just now.
みんな興奮しすぎだよね。朝のおじいちゃんなんて青春回帰しちゃってるし。
I couldn't believe what he had said, but it was positive proof of the effect of our flight had on people. I guess we made our point then. We showed them why we look to the sky. Kotori answered and turned the glider. We headed toward the runway. She descended little by little to keep from gaining too much speed. Kotori's gaze went almost reluctantly beyond the canopy towards the sky. We climbed so high. The earth below looked misty, just a little further. It seemed, and we could actually touch the clouds.
今日本当は飛ぶのがちょっと怖かった。
That's natural, Kotori said suddenly. I thought back to that instant of fear I'd felt before takeoff. Are you still thinking about that stall? If they do a barrel roll, I'll fall down laughing. I don't think they're gonna do a barrel roll, but I could very well be wrong. But I don't see them doing a barrel roll with that. Kotori shook her head.
空が遠かったから。まるで高いところから下を見下ろすみたいに足がすくんでた。
But you don't look scared at all right now, Kotori. That being said, we were actually pretty high right now.
気がついたの。空は遠くなったんじゃない。広がったんだって。
Okay. What do you mean?
私ね、空を遠く感じるようになったのは自分に夢がないからだって思ってた。夢っていう翼をなくしたせいで飛べなくなってしまったんだって。
I'd heard her talk about this before. She'd been afraid, like she'd lost her way.
けど今日ここへ来てみて気がついたの。空は広いんだって。
Kotori said this as if she had just realized it for the first time.
引退、それから卒業。私たちもうすぐ知らない場所へ行くでしょ。
Yeah.
そこはカゴの外だから。まだ私は大学で勉強を続けるけど、以前の私にはそれさえなかった。葵に預けてたあの退学届、あれを書いた頃の私は自分から小さなカゴの中に引きこもろうとしてた。そんな私の目の前に急に広がったのよ。たくさんの未来の可能性が。するとね、いつも見上げてる空が何倍にも高くなった気がして足がすくんだの。
And Kotori's heart had faltered at the sight. I'm sure her experience learning to walk again was part of it too. That had opened up the world for her too.
自分に自信がなかったのね。それを夢がないせいにしてた。でもその未来こそあの日私が取り戻したものだわ。私飛びたい。モーニンググローリーを、雲の回廊を渡りたい。そうしたら 取り戻せる気がするの。未来が。そう、未来。私がなくした一番大きなもの。もしモーニンググローリーを飛べれば取り戻せる気がするの。
And she'd done it, flown the morning glory, and found her future.
そのことをね、思い出したの。気づかせてくれたたくさんの人たちが。
Possibly.
だって私たちすっごいことを成し遂げたんでしょ。
Yeah, I guess we did. I had felt it too, of course. And now everything we'd done had inspired others as well. Izuka's dream of starting her club. Old man Kazuto telling us his life's dream. Haruka joining the club because she had seen us fly. That day when we flew the morning glory, it had led us all here to now.
この1ヶ月本当に大変だったけど、おかげでいろんなことに気づかせてもらえた。
Hey there, Kendra. Welcome in. I thought we'd gone off track and gotten lost, but it was all worth it. Kotori nodded and looked back up.
カゴから飛び出すのは勇気がいるけど、今はこの広い空を羽ばたいていける気がするの。
That is true. Basically, in this can be kind of similar to growing up from an adolescent into an adult and having your own responsibilities. It can be nerve-wracking and it can be scary. It can be kind of disheartening at times, but when you have a proper plan, it all works out.
どこかに手が届きそうな予感がする。まだ夢も見つけられない私だけど。
You've got lots of time. No need to rush. Just look at Asa's grandpa. He's still a boy at heart.
困った老人だわ。いつか見た映画みたい。
Yeah, I thought so too. We both laughed at
と
that.
りあえず一つ目標を決めたわ。
What's that?
インストラクターの資格を取る。それでね、風が浦で空を目指す子たちに羽ばたき方を教えてあげたい。夢っていうにはちょっとスケールが小さいけど。
Not at all. Izuka's clubs need staff, you know? Kotori blushed and looked down when I said that.
こんな私だけど、いつも迷ってばかりで、かと思ったら急に突っ走って。でも頑張って自分のペースで飛ぶから、一人でも大丈夫だから。だから葵は先に行ってて。それで自分の夢を追いかけていって。私はそんな葵が大好きなの。
Kotori. The runway came into view while we talked. When we slowed down a bit and were in sight of the crowd, we'd be starting our aerobatics. I felt like it was time. Listen, Kotori.
何？
Me getting a job, that's only partly about following my dream. I have another reason.
他の理由？
Kotori asked, totally mystified. I want to get on my own feet as soon as I can. So I can hurry and make a place for someone very important. Here, my proof. I said and pulled a small velvet box from my pocket. But can you see? I tried to pass it to her, but my seatbelt held me back.
ごめん、見えない。
That's not really the best time to address a proposal, buddy. You're in the middle of a dang flight. You're in the middle of a blasted flight. You ain't got no propulsion, and you over here trying to send a dadgum proposal. Are you trying to get her distracted to the point to where you do stall the dang glider? Gosh. Timing, folks. Timing. And this ain't the right time. It ain't. Yeah, but if the thought is not applied at the right time, it can lead to disaster. Anyways, I'm gonna have some water before I overheat. Okay, let's go. I'm gonna take my belt off a minute. Can you take the yoke for a sec?
Oh.
I took off my seatbelt. I opened the box and held it in front of Kotori. My proof that even if we part, someday we will live together again. The box held a ring. I'd gone to Wendy's to buy it the other day. I'd already checked her ring size. The other day, on our date, we'd gone to a little jewelry shop and she tried on rings. Kotori had been teasing me, but it had all been part of my plan. My plan to propose during our final flight.
これ、指輪?
No, it's a Rolex. Yeah, it is. Whoa! The glider took a huge dip. I held on to Kotori's seat for dear life. That's why you don't do that kind of stuff in that environment. That's exactly why. That is a very emotional impact. Moving on. Kotori snapped out of her shock and righted the glider. I thought we were gonna die. I slid back and fastened my seatbelt, as you should have never taken it off to begin with. All the promises in the world wouldn't keep us from dying here.
もしかして、これ。
Yes, it is. Now, just do the aerobatic thing. Just get the thing on the dang ground before you end up. Not supposed to be. It is. We'd have to wait, of course. It was a promise for the future. The ring was just a symbol of that promise. My girlfriend is a beautiful young lady. I have to catch her before I lose her. Of course, I was worried about Kotori all alone at university, but that wasn't much of a problem. Kotori said it herself. She was happy for me to chase my dreams. And as for me, I was most happy when I was looking to the sky with Kotori. So I made my decision. I'd chase my dream. So we might not be together after graduation, but I swear we will be together again. I'll find a place for us. Kotori stared vacantly. She was just barely in control of the glider.
もう一回。
After you land this dang glider. Huh?
もう一回お願い。ぼんやりしてて細部を聞き逃したから。
Oh, goodness gracious. Somebody help this couple when it comes to timing stuff. Somebody help this couple! I'd never heard of anyone having to repeat their proposal. But unfortunately, that was just the sort of girl I'd fallen in love with. I cleared my throat and said it again. Kotori, I love you. I want to be with you forever. I don't know when it'll be, but I will make a promise for us to live together. This ring is proof of that. Will you accept it? Now focus on the dang glider! Kotori answered quietly in an embarrassed voice. It looked like she was intentionally holding back her emotions. As she should, she's in control of a glider that could possibly get the two of you killed. Yes! I pumped my fist a little. Oh shoot. Huh? Aga's voice came from the radio. Wait, what the heck? They had them on Vox! They had them on Vox! Ah! They had them on Vox! They had them on Vox! Ah! They had them on Vox! What? They had them on Vox. No way! I made sure it was off before I started talking. I had made dead sure because I had wanted to make sure that I didn't make the same mistake twice. Kotori, you sly little girl. Kotori was bent over, trying to hold back her laughter. Kotori apologized, barely concealing her glee. No, you did not. She turned the radio on herself. Is that why you made me? Well, that's one, you know what? That's one way to definitely send an impact on a gliding motion, that you can also apparently make proposals to the point to where you're gonna get engaged. Now there's a memory to remember now, ain't it? Aga, when did you become a sound engineer? Doggone it. I may need to wash my back. What? Everyone. 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 That meant the guests. I can't believe this. I cannot believe this. Whatever, it's fine. Guess that saves us the big announcement. It was embarrassing, but I suppose it was a good thing to have witnesses to an important promise like that. She done lost it, folks. Milk, I think she might actually do a couple of extra aerobatics. She might even do that barrel and probably even a loop-to-loop. Kotori answered Aga's question and swung the controls. There's your barrel roll. There's your barrel roll. Whoa, hey! Kotori flipped the smoke tracer switch. I would imagine that's supposed to be a heart. The glider spun and drew wide rings in the blue sky above the excited crowd. Oh my. Yeah, just let it cook at this point. Just let it cook. I think that might be it, actually. Yep, and there it is, folks. We finally finished it. After almost a year and a half, maybe, we finally finished If My Heart Had Wings Flight Diary. And what a diary it was. But you know, ultimately, there's definitely some life lessons within this. Now, I'm not going to do a whole series on that. But ultimately, the other factor is this: if you really want to do something out in the world, there's going to be some risk. But the important thing is you have to properly plan it, and you have to properly prepare. If you don't do that, it's gonna be even more difficult. So it's always important that you plan accordingly. Like Aoi, obviously, he planned this whole thing out to get a ring. A promise ring in this particular case, and then to propose to her accordingly and whatnot. And I guess in this particular case, that made it, that gave Kotori the confidence to really do some aerobatic maneuvers that most likely probably just secured the hearts of everyone in Kazegara, along with the mayor of the town, and along with the chairman known as Mr. Kazuto. Ay, 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 ay. I mean, ultimately, I'll probably look at if there's any other visual novels that I could consider out there. But there is one thing that I got in the works that I have not made absolutely official yet, but I am actually going to bring Doki Doki Literature Club to the live side. Originally, I've been doing it all pre-recorded, but the thing is I barely have time for pre-recorded material anymore. So I'm just bringing everything to the live setting. So I'm going to revamp Doki Doki Literature Club, and I've actually got some folks who are actually going to be voice acting the other characters. So stay tuned for that. We're getting some final bugs worked out, and if all goes well, it should be close to early March that we get started with the series. But I'm working on that. I tell you, Pull Top did a good job with this, though. And the music score for If My Heart Had Wings is incredible. It's absolutely incredible. I'll never get tired of seeing those windmills either. If there was any poster I would actually mount on my wall, it will probably be of those windmills. I actually do get a kick out of windmills. All right, let's see if there's anything left. All right, what do we got here? All clean. I nodded in satisfaction at the sparkling kitchen. The stove, sink, tables, floors, they were all spotless. Someone else can take out the trash. Oh yeah, better check the notices. I took the notice clipboard from the entryway. I'd finished cleaning my room the day before. Since the halls and baths weren't my responsibility, I'd left them. Guess there's nothing left to do. Aww, you gonna miss him, Hat? Hat came waddling out of Kotori's room and stopped by my feet looking up. Hey there, Hat, what's up? Dang, he's like, you about to leave and you ain't gonna say goodbye to me? Really? You already ate, didn't you? Hat gave me an oddly cold stare. Wait, did you come here to say goodbye? You really are a clever duck. Well, since this is a girl's dorm, I won't be able to come and hang out much. But we'll meet again, Hat. See you around. Dang. So you took after everyone. So you look after everyone for me. Especially you know who. I'm sure you know. But she gets so lonely sometimes. Hat answered as if to say, I got this. Later then, Hat. After I said goodbye to Hat, I closed the door to an empty dorm. Or the empty dorm. It was my last day as house mother. I'd already moved out, so there was nothing more for me to do. Oh wait, one last thing. I locked the door. And with that, I gave the old manor a final look over. It really is falling apart. I thought back on all the emergency repairs I'd done in that typhoon. That was a crazy day. We lost screens, windows, even part of the roof. But looking at it now, all I saw was charm. I could say it now that it wasn't my job, but I wanted this place to last forever. I wanted new students to move in. Speaking of, Haruka would be moving in next term. She'd been commuting by train, but she'd come to like the dorm, and since the rent was cheap, her parents had agreed to let her move in. But why am I sitting here reminiscing? If I don't hurry, her lordship, the club leader, will kill me. This was our last day as members of the Soaring Club. I held the notices to my chest and left my old home behind. I know what that feels like, actually. Because I actually had to leave a home that I had been in for so many years. But that's okay. Because I was also happy to move on to the next chapters in my life. A lot of history, but that history doesn't fade away just because you're not in that house anymore. Our final flight had, of course, been a huge success. Everyone had helped us take off with the bungee launch. And Agaha's smoke tracers had earned high praise in our aerobatics. After we finished that flight and returned to the runway, we opened the canopy to a roaring applause.
おめでとう二人とも。すっごく素敵でした。おめでとうございますっす。グレートだよお二人さん。大成功ね。
It feels like the applause is for something else, though. It is. But it's kind of mixed in, if you will. Kotori waved her hand, a satisfied grin on her face as she climbed out of the cockpit. The applause intensified. It was clearly a reaction to my secretly broadcasted proposal.
葵くん、小鳥、おめでとう。
Was that you or the game applause? That was the game applause. That was not me.
ユーロマンチックだったわよ。わわ。
Kotori grew more and more smug as the congratulations rolled in. Folks, let's not get carried away. We don't want to puff her head any bigger than it already is. I was glad to see her so happy. It was good she got to show off. Well, if not now, then when?
何が？
I sighed in resignation, took Kotori's arm, and spun her to face me. Then I took the velvet box from my pocket again. Kotori?
はい。
With a serious look, I raised Kotori's left hand to waist height.
何？まさか。ああ。
Silence started to spread around us like a ripple in a pond. Kotori's cheeks flushed as she stared into my eyes. This is proof of our future together. Do you accept it? And the crowd goes wild again. After she nodded, I slipped the ring onto her finger.
見てらんないわね。
In the words of a well-known ninja, believe it!
おめでとう。やるなあ、葵くん。何かしら、このもやっとくる感情は。
It's called happiness, Akari. It's happiness. If you've never experienced that before, you need to touch some grass. You need to get out of the office. You need to get out of every other scenario. You need to get out of the lab, and you need to touch some grass. Go bowling, go to the arcade, go to an amusement park in the summer. Do something, but get out of the blasted house. She's worse than me.
おめでとう2人とも。やっぱり水瀬先輩はすごいな。
Take notes, Harumi, because that's going to be you and Haruka next.
いいなあ、部長。かっこいいぞ、葵くん。わあ。
くっそー、この上まだカッコつけるかあいつめ。
So when are you going to raise yours?
おめでとう、葵。バッチリ取ったからね、小鳥ちゃん。今日のデータは永久保存版よ。
Why do I got a sneaky suspicion that Hibari's gonna keep a couple of them as posters in her room? Everyone seemed even happier than we were. Despite a couple of hiccups, my big proposal plan was a huge success. Kotori, blinking shyly, held her left hand with its glittering ring carefully to her chest. But our final flight wasn't over yet. The bungee launch and aerobatics big event was done, but that was just the beginning. It could be said that the real show was yet to come. Kotori and I would take turns at the controls as we took off with the winch and gave individual guests rides. We hoped everyone would get a better idea how a glider worked and see how fun it was. We took up Tatsuya, Hibari, other supporters, and then the teachers, Mr. Kazuto, and even the mayor too. Since there were too many people for one day, Aga had promised them that we'd take them up on club days. When Tobioka went up, Izuka took the controls. Izuka just couldn't stand seeing us fly all day and had to go up herself. And apparently Tobioka had found it hard to ask us directly. But when Izuka asked him, he'd reluctantly climbed in the glider. Then it all came to an end.
今日は素晴らしい一日をありがとう。
Kazuto had said, calling the club members and Izuka over.
お遊びサークルなどと言ってすまんかった。
わかればいいんです。
Hey, come on! I elbowed Kotori. She just couldn't help herself.
ミサギのお嬢ちゃん。
はい。
ソアリングクラブを作り、そしてモーニンググローリーを目指すというあんたの野望。本物。
もちろんです。
よかろう。では、わしがあんたの後ろ盾になってやろう。
How many poor people are gonna be blasted soon in this dang visual novel?
ただし、2年じゃ。わしの孫たちが引退するまでに形にしてみせなさい。
2年。それだけあれば十分です。
聞いた通りじゃ、慶風学園の教師諸君。これで文句はあるまい。
None of the teachers had the guts to argue, so we could be sure of no more opposition. The teachers had all been happy with the flights. The teachers had all been happy with the flights anyway and approved of our club.
おじいちゃんかっこいいです。
なかなか見どころある若者たちのようじゃからの。
とかなんとか言って、本当は自分が飛びたいだけなんじゃ。
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
ギク。
You ain't slick, dude.
そういえば、さっきもモーニンググローリーを目指すとか言ってたよね。
何のことかの。わしも年じゃから突然錯乱してあることないこと口走ることが。
Do I need to queue up the replay on that? Yo, twins, do I need to queue up the replay on that? Never mind, y'all got this.
この前、イスカさんを呼び出した時も、どうせ本命は小鳥先輩たちだったんでしょ。
ギクギク。
どういうこと？モーニンググローリーを飛んだ時の話を直接聞きたかったんだと思います。
Well, why didn't he just ask?
うちのおじいちゃん、超負けず嫌いなんで。
This dude just got clowned by his own granddaughter. Just got clowned by his own granddaughter.
Emotional damage!
そのおかげで風戸家が繁栄してるわけですが。
夜、お前はその人の心理をあけすけに読むのをやめなさい。悪い癖じゃ。
おじいちゃんの負けず嫌いで天の弱なところもね。
Emotional damage!
まあ、おじいちゃんも素直になりましょう。みんな空を愛する仲間です。
Really goes to show you can even learn from kids.
コホン、そういうわけじゃからイスカさん。
はい、なんでしょう。
うまくいったらわしも会員にしてもらってええかの。
That's better.
はい、もちろん喜んで。
今日のフライトを見て年がいもなく血が騒いでしもうた。もう一度空を飛びたくなった。
Old man Kazuto said as he looked at Kotori and I. His eyes were kind and he smiled softly, but his scowl returned in the blink of an eye.
まだまだ負けんぞ、若造ども。
Stop the cap!
何？この大人げないじいさんは。
Apparently, he decided we were rivals to be beaten. Then the mayor came over.
いやー、いいものを見せてもらったよ、君たち。
Anytime. We're glad to hear that. But why had he come exactly?
おかげでアイデアが湧いてきた。
What now?
市長はな、以前から風ヶ浦を風の町として PR してある。
What better way than having wind beneath wings? We knew that much. That was why they'd been endorsing the town as a place to research wind turbines and other renewable energy sources. That was also part of why Amane had been able to experiment with their new turbines here.
そこでこちらの風戸さんから提案があったんだよ。風の町にちなんだフェスティバルをやってはどうかとね。
Oh, a festival?
ここなら他の風車が一望できるし。
風に乗って飛ぶグライダーは絶好のパフォーマンスになるじゃろうな。
ええ、今日見せてもらってそれを確信しましたよ。そのためにも ぜひともミサギさんのクラブを我が市に誘致せねばなりませんね。
なるほど、そのための視察だったってわけね。頑張らないと。
That's one thing about it, folks. Sometimes when you wanted just a little impression, you might get a lot more than you bargained for. It appeared the adults had been making plans of their own.
あとはイスカさんに任せましょう。
Right. We were only pilots. Our job was just to fly the blue sky. Oh my. Sorry I'm late. When I got to the hangar, everyone was working as usual.
遅い。寮の鍵閉めるだけでどれだけかかってるのよ。
Will you chill? Sorry. It took a while to clean the kitchen.
それ、一昨日もしたじゃん。
Kotori was exacerbated. There was still plenty to take care of.
これで全員揃ったわね。そろそろ始めましょうか。
Aga went to get everyone and we gathered in one corner of the hangar. It was the last day for us seniors. We were going to offer the younger students a few final words.
誰から行く？じゃあ、遅刻してきた青いから。
Wait, isn't that backwards? Aga, please, you go first.
了解。
Aga raised her hand and took a step forward. The younger students all sat on the floor waiting to hear what we had to say.
まあ挨拶っても特別言うことはないんだけどね。こら、いきなり趣旨をぶち壊さないで。私は昔ロボット部にいたのね。で、ここにいる葵と、それから小鳥と出会ってソアリング部に入ったの。もともと何か作るのが好きで、まあやりがいがあれば何でもよかったんだよね。つまりはソアリング部にやりがいを感じたわけ。飛びたいって思ってる子がいて、頑張って飛ばせてあげる。離陸していくグライダーを下から見上げるのもなかなかおつなもんだったわ。だからまあ操縦するだけがグライダーじゃないってことで、整備もしっかりね。
Aga finished up her somewhat typical speech and stepped back. I figured it was my turn, so I started to step forward, but Kotori beat me to it. Wait, you should be last. You're the club leader, right?
いや、だって引退フライトとかでいっぱい挨拶とかやったから、ぶっちゃけもう言うことないし。
So why'd you just pick on Aga like that?
後輩秘書くん、こんな無茶苦茶な先輩たちに最後までついてきてくれてありがとう。あんまりそういうところは真似しないように、安全安心な空の小旅行をお楽しみください。
That was her last speech?
イスカさんがクラブを作ったら、私はインストラクターとして戻ってくるつもりだけど、その頃には朝たちはいなくなってそうね。そんな。もし桐野さんがその時までにパイロット資格を取れてなかったら、私が教えてあげるわ。それまで取らずにいるっす。いや、そこは取れるようなら取っとこうね。以上よ。それで終わりですか。伝えるべきことは日々の部活動の中で伝えてきたはずだもの。
Kotori said a bit too proudly. Aga and Kotori's speeches were both a bit too cut and dry for my taste. Of course, they'd both done their share of crying already. For example, when we'd finished up the final flight, we'd had quite the party. What with our big flight success, Izuka's plan making progress, and my proposal to Kotori. But suddenly Kotori broke down crying.
やっぱり引退したくないよ。も
All this 2.5K in my head. Jeez.
私もわせてくださいっす。
The weeping girls all embraced, overcome with emotion. Only Yoru looked on coldly.
まったく引退するって言ったってどうせまたすぐひょっこり顔出すつもりでしょ。やめてくださいね、そういうの。
Stop the cap!
なくなっちゃいますから。
Stop the cap!
あんたは最後まで生意気なんだからこっち来て一緒に抱き合いなさい。いや私そういうキャラじゃ。
Stop the cap!
Jeez Louise, people.
もうバカみたい。
Stop the cap!
楽しかった。本当に楽しかった。最高だった。最高のチームだったよ。
And so on. Harumi and I didn't join in, but just sat there looking on, trying not to cry.
それじゃ葵、鳥なんだからビシッと決めてね。
Oh, right. But I didn't really have anything to say. So back in the day, Amane kept this club going alone, and she kind of forced me into being part of it. Then, well, it wasn't always smooth. At one point, we were shut down, and that wasn't even the end of our troubles. But we wanted to fly, so we never gave up and saved our club. Kotori and Agaha nodded along. But now it's all yours. You decide what to do. You decide how you'll fly. You'll have to figure it out yourselves. So in the end, have fun and do it your way. And like Kotori said, try not to be as messed up as us. That's all I got. I imagined they'd been expecting something a bit more inspirational. They all seemed a little let down. But honestly, words couldn't convey the most important things we had to share. Like Kotori had said, we'd already taught what we could day after day.
では次は新部長から挨拶。私ですか？
Yes, you.
当たり前じゃないの。何も用意してないの？不活だった。
Come here so I can bonk you. Proper planning and preparation prevents poor performance. Get over here so I can bonk you. I won't bonk you hard, but just hard enough. Asa stood up and stepped forward anyway. She looked unsteady, but took a deep breath. She looked serious.
私が先輩たちに出会った頃、ソアリング部はなくなってて、同好会になってました。でも私、空が飛びたくて、私、夜ちゃんと違って何にもできなくて、お荷物なんじゃないかって悩んだこともあったけど、でも先輩たちといるとそれだけで楽しくて、結局今日までなんとか頑張ってこられました。部長にまで指名されちゃったもんね。
Why are you interrupting her speech?
はい。
Asa turned bright red.
私なんかじゃ先輩たちには全然届かないと思うけど、でも っと飛びたいです。もっともっともっともっと飛びたい。もっとずっとこの空に恋してたいです。小鳥先輩のように。朝、あんたって怖い。
If you really look at it, you're both goofballs. She's falling for the sky.
もしかしてそれが素で言えちゃうことがソアリング部の部長になれる資格だったりして。引退して卒業しちゃっても先輩たちは私の憧れですから。ソアリング部魂を受け継いで部長として頑張っていきます。
Asa, overcome with emotions, snapped a teary-eyed salute. I wasn't really sure what she meant, but the sentiment was clear.
じゃあ次夜ね。なんで私が。
Yes, you, especially since you like to talk so much garbage to begin with.
いいからいいから。
Yoru reluctantly stood as ordered and replaced Asa, who was now weeping openly.
親愛なる先輩の皆様、あなたたちの不合理さにはいつも呆れてました。
Stop the cap!
なんだと？この子は。
Settle down. She's got a point, you know.
けど一人じゃ気づけないような何かも学べたような気がします。きっとそれはこれからの私にとって不可欠なものとなっていくでしょう。大変不本意ではありますが、とても感謝しています。ありがとうございました、先輩。
Yoru smiled and looked at Haruka and Harumi. They brought out bouquets of flowers out of hiding.
先輩、これからも頑張ってくださいっす。
Easier said than done, but it's not impossible.
もっと勉強させてもらいたかったです。
Hot tears filled my eyes as I accepted my flowers. Keep at it, you two.
元気でね。頑張んなさい。
頑張ります。
I wondered where the wind would take them. Just imagining it made my heart leap.
水瀬先輩。
Harumi whispered to me. What's up?
先輩のプロポーズ、感動しました。
You planning to propose to Haruka? Oh, thanks.
俺もやってみます。
Huh? Harumi stared at Haruka as he whispered. Called it. I grabbed his shoulders and whispered back. One piece of advice. That stuff about girls loving guys who can cook is spot on.
マジっすか。やってみます。
He answered so sincerely, I had to ruffle his hair. Yeah, I hope it all works out.
はい。
またじゃれ合ってる。あれって浮気にならないのかしら。
Will you chill out? Good heavens, girl, you got a temper. Giving us boys the side eye, Kotori took a notebook from her bag.
このノートを預けていくわ。これイスカさんのフライトログよ。私の原点であり、ある意味今のソアリング部の原点でもあるわ。こんな大事なもの置いてっちゃうんですか？だってこれ私のじゃないもの。私は預かっただけ。
Understood.
でも私だって受け取れません。困ったわね。小鳥先輩、持っててください。 それで次、いつかさんのクラブに帰ってくるとき、持ってきてください。そう？わかったわ。そうする。
Seriously though, men who can cook is always a plus. Hey, you know, I do a little bit here and there. Asa smiled, looking relieved. She likely felt it was a promise. Kotori had to come back now.
さーてと、それじゃ帰りますか。
Kotori said calmly, and left the hangar without a hint of reluctance. When we got outside, Aga started the engine on a scooter that was parked off to the side. Oh, you bought one?
あまね先輩の真似してね。通勤にも便利だろうから。
A few days earlier, Aga and Hotaru had gone to go get their scooter licenses. Leaving the club left her lots of time, so she was planning on getting her real driver's license next.
原付なら私も運転できるかな。
Kotori stared at Aga's scooter with deep interest. But it was probably too dangerous for Kotori, with her legs as they were. Aga put on her helmet and climbed on.
それじゃあ帰るね。
I don't see a helmet. You're not going back with us?
どうせまたすぐ顔合わせるでしょ。
She was right, of course. We were from the same neighborhood after all.
それじゃあ小鳥。
The friends exchanged looks. Once upon a time, Aga had called me her best friend. But I was pretty sure that spot now belonged to Kotori. It was a bittersweet feeling.
さよならは言わないよ。私たちはこの空でつながってる。
Budget cuts. That's gonna be an ongoing gag on this budget.
またどこかで。おう、またどこかで。
Aga smiled and opened up the throttle. She rolled off down that gentle hill, the purr of the engine trailing behind. She cut a dashing figure somehow. Let's walk on home then. I guess this isn't gonna end until we see the two of them kiss. Kotori and I walked down the hill hand in hand. The sun was strong, but the breeze was cool and fresh. It felt lovely. Kotori had passed her entrance exams. From spring, she'd be moving in with Hibari and commuting to university from there. And I had been hired by the bicycle parts company. From spring, I'd be living on my own in Tokyo. We were both starting down new paths. Before long, we'd no longer be able to walk hand in hand like this. With Old Man Kazuto's backing, Izuka's club was getting a solid start. Seeing our flight had lit a fire in Izuka, and she was racing to get back into the sky. Amane had gone back to America. She was already busy, and sure to get busier. No doubt we'd have more chances to see her on TV, in the newspapers, and on the net than face to face. But I had a suspicion. She'd come sneaking back again with an empty belly before long. When it happened, I hoped we'd all be able to get together and have some fun. As we walked over the rolling hills, Kotori stopped at the top of one.
ここだったよね。確か。
Where they first met, I'll bet. Kotori had stopped in the spot where we first met. Called it!
葵があっちから歩いてきて。
and I saw this unbelievably beautiful girl crying here. We looked at each other and giggled. You tricked me, you know. I was convinced you were some quiet, melancholy beauty.
あら、大して間違ってないじゃない。今は何だと思ってるの？
Someone with a cool allure?
何それ？
Wait, didn't you use that term to begin with, called Miss Allure? Don't you remember? That's how you introduced yourself when we met at Flying Fish. See, that's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. That same terminology. Exactly.
あのね、新入りのあなたは知らないだろうけど、私これでもクールビューティーで通ってるの。忘れろって言ったのに。
It don't work like that, little sis. It don't work like that. Kotori's face was bright red. She definitely remembered. No, that's light blush and mostly looking like a cat that's ready to scratch somebody that just took their favorite toy. That was amazing. I think that's what made me fall for you.
そうなの？
Oh, see, now she'll accept it. Now that there was a compliment in it, now she'll accept it. Yeah, I think so. If we hadn't met like that, I'd probably have gone on thinking she was just a pretty girl. But standing there full of confidence describing her own cool allure had left quite an impression on me.
あなたやっぱり変わってるわね。
We're all weird, little sis.
でもよかった。葵が変わってて、おかげで好きになってもらえた。
Kotori looked content as she snuggled up against me, and we both looked up at the sky. That's really awesome to see her on her feet again. This is where we first saw the glider, too. A white aircraft had come across the lake and passed slowly over our heads. Later we found out it was Amane on a test flight. If we hadn't been there, right then, we might never have joined the Soaring Club. And we would not be standing right here, right now, together. Chance, fate, it's all so strange. It feels so long ago.
感じるんじゃなくて、昔なのよ。
She was right. 3 years was a long time.
過去には戻ることはできないけど、未来なら大きく開けてる。
The sky over the hills stretched on forever. Hi, Pot. My name's Kettle. Read any good books lately? Gosh. Just like our future. Kotori? She was trembling slightly.
こうして空を見上げてるとね、まだちょっと足がすくむの。でもそれはきっと可能性が広すぎるから、自分が何者なのか、今どこにいるのか、すぐに見失いそうになる。
Yeah. At times we might lose sight of our goals, or reach what was thought was the end, and just find that it was just one stop along the way to something bigger. But your sky is just as big as the wings you make. The bigger someone's wings were, the bigger the sky they would need. On that one morning, Kotori hadn't crawled back into her cage. She'd looked to the sky and flown the cloud corridor.
私はまだ飛び方を覚えたばかりの小さな鳥だから、空はまだまだ高いけど。
We were setting out into new skies without any maps. It was scary. Our feet wanted to freeze in place.
胸はうるさいくらい高鳴ってる。
Kotori opened Isuka's notebook and tore out a single blank page. She folded it into a paper airplane.
届け、私の未来へ。
The paper airplane left Kotori's hand and caught the wind from the lake. It climbed higher and higher. Shall we go? The skies were waiting. I guess we won't see them kiss. And there it is. Well then, I'd say we're over the time we usually go, but of course I wanted to get this done with. So overall, I'd say it was a good novel. Definitely some good life lessons in it. So I'd say definitely good on Moe novel for this one, as well as Pull a Top for putting it all together. So with that, I'm going to look to see if there's any other visual novels that we may be able to look at. Also, again, look forward to the possible near appearance of a live run through of Doki Doki Literature Club with some other voices. Thank you, Milk Chocolate. Thank you, thank you, everyone. Thank you for putting up with this foghorn cringe bozo. Thank you. You have the patience of gold and silver and platinum. But we're going to go ahead and hop out here because it's definitely getting late for me. So definitely look forward to tomorrow night as we're going to be playing some more Spider-Man 2. That actually reminds me, I need to get I actually do need to get the recap video done. So definitely put that on my to-do list. But yeah, look forward tomorrow night on Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And also for Saturday, look forward to some more Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge, to which I'm planning to have a special guest with me to continue on and see if we can do any more progress in the game as we fill up some time leading up to Final Fantasy VII Rebirth's release, which is basically roughly less than a week, so roughly 9 days. So pretty much the following Saturday, I most likely will make room for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth in that regard. But for this weekend, we're going to be doing some Shredder's Revenge on Saturday with a guest to be announced. And if you want to check out anything that I'm doing, if you're watching for the very first time, you can check me out on Twitter with the link right there. And also, if you want to catch any of my links, it is available on the master link on Linktree. So once again, thank you everyone for watching. Hope you have a good night, and until next time, happy mixing everyone.